All right, that was quick. We are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris. This is my channel, We Love Comics. And I already see Mighty Comics and Collectibles already here and in the live chat. That is awesome to see. Welcome. And today, of course, is, well, it happens at least about every month and a half these days, which I am not all things considered when it comes to graded companies. Without having to pay extra money to get a faster service, I have another batch of my comics from PGX back ready to unbox. I do not know the grades. I love doing this with you guys. It's a video that I've been doing now for over 4 years, soon going on 5 years, where every month I send in 4 comics to PGX. You already know the deal about that, so I'm not going to take a long time, but check the link in the description because there are some discounts for my subscribers if you ever want to try PGX. And if you've never tried them, give them a chance. They have in-house pressings and dry cleanings. They are the cheapest of the 3 major grading companies as far as price for your comics to get graded. They also do signature verification. They will also put the grader's notes on the back of the slab for you for a $5 fee. I also provided in the description, if you spend, well, if you get 10 or more books graded, if you use the code We Love Comics Free Press, you get one of them pressed for free. That is for my subscribers, and you don't even have to be a subscriber. If you're a viewer and you got that, use that code, you know, you're saving a little bit of money. Especially these days, every little bit helps. That could be anywhere from a $20 to $30 value, depending on the book that you get sent in. I do not get paid by PGX to do this. The deal I made with them is I send in 4 books. They press them, dry clean them, and grade them for me. I pay for the shipping, and I do these videos to promote them. So please give them a chance. Check out the description for any of the discount codes. If you ever want to support me on Patreon, I have a link for that as well. Let's get into the video. Let's first put on the video camera so you're not hearing me unbox them. Now, like I said, I do not know the grades. Here are the 4 books. It has not been opened yet. We are going to do that live. So this is the closest thing to a Christmas present that I get basically every about month and a half. And they've been pretty consistent. So like I said, if there's many reasons to get your books graded, but if you're not worried about price, and by the way, if you subscribe to one of my subscribers, they sold a PGX graded book for at a 3.0 for higher than what a CGC book sells for. They sold a Marvel Spotlight 5 at a 3.0, and it's sold on eBay, so you can verify it yourself. It was a Marvel Spotlight 5, a PGX 3.0, sold for $1,100. So for those who constantly say CGC will always sell for more, that could be a fluke, a one-time thing, but a 4.0 CGC is valued at about $1,000. And he sold a 3.0 PGX on eBay for $1,100. So I've shown on auctions, and speaking of auctions, I am doing an auction this coming Sunday, not tomorrow, the next Sunday. It'll be around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so check that out, and I'll have a bunch of books for you guys. And I've constantly sold PGX books for very competitive prices, so the myth of you can't sell a PGX book is just ridiculous. But, you know, if you put no effort into anything, you know, as they say, you get what you give. So as you can see, they're wrapped in the blue cellophane. I always keep them with the back in front of me, so this way I do not know the grades. Of course, there was bubble wrap and everything. In the 4.5, going on 5 years, I have never had any cases come in the mail damaged. Let's hope that continues. But, you know, that's a big thing. I've seen other grading companies, and I'll tell you something, like I've always said, CGC, whether they're number 1 anymore, because of all the things that are going on, I'll leave that up for you to decide. But I've constantly seen people that do their CGC unboxings, and the cases crack. As a matter of fact, 2 of my CGC cases are cracked, and it happened when we moved here. my X-Men #1 3.0, the bottom of the case cracked. I've never had a PGX book crack. So their cases are very sturdy. So with that being said, I have the 4 books. I will tell you what I paid for them, what grade I predicted, and then we will reveal the grade. If you are kind enough, like the 7 awesome people that have already hit the thumbs up, to do that, it's always appreciated. Now keep in mind, when I predict a grade, I give it about either a 0.5 or a whole full grade range. And I base it on what I think the final result will be after a pressing and dry cleaning. And like I said, they do pressings and dry cleanings in-house, so you don't have to worry about your books being sent to one place and then repackaged and sent somewhere else where they could get potentially lost or potentially damaged. These things are a factor. Like I said, also, I get these back. You see it, I do it a little bit, about a month and a half. And actually, these came 2 days ago, but I didn't get the notification that it was in my box. So I could have done this video 2 days ago, but they come back quickly. So if you have a book where you need a quick turnaround, I mean, people are telling me now, even spending the extra money to CGC, it's still taking 5 or 6 months. And if you have a book that you need to turn around, I mean, if you're not selling it, you're not making money. So that money you spent, whether it's $10 or $10,000, is in limbo waiting. Time is money. So, you know, if I have to sell a book $100 cheaper, if that's the case, and like I said, there's one of my subscribers, check out the sold Marvel Spotlight 3.0 PGX that sold for $1,100. It's right there on eBay to verify in the sold listings. These are getting very competitive. I always leave it up to you. So let's go with the first one. We randomly pick one. I'll tell you what I paid for it, any of the significance of the book, and then hopefully you guys will enjoy the ride. All right, so the first one, we got Spider-Woman. Now, of course, I predict eventually with the Spider-Verse, they're going to add her eventually. Now, I have several of these comics, so I thought I'd try and get one of them graded. I mean, I bought these a couple of years ago, so the prices I paid for these are definitely going to be a lot less than what they are. And once they make an official announcement, of course, you know, I'm not going to guarantee they will, but I'm pretty sure that that's going to happen. These are books to get. Now, this isn't her first appearance, but this is where... Oh, I'm sorry, this is Marvel Spotlight. I'm looking at the wrong one. Okay, so Marvel Spotlight 32. So this is the first appearance. That's what I was going to say. Spider-Woman #1, she has that long hair. This one, looks bald anyway. And she could shoot, apparently, lasers. So they changed it in Spider-Woman #1. So I was looking at the wrong column. So this is Marvel Spotlight number 32. This is the first appearance ever of Jessica Drew, a.k.a. the Spider-Woman. I only paid $33.57 for this book. Higher grade, but no chance of a 9.8 for this book, and that's fine for $33, especially if I always base things on what's coming or what I think is coming. So that's the time to get a book before any kind of announcements ever happen. But it doesn't guarantee it, so if it doesn't, I spent $33 on the book. So I predicted about an 8.0 to 9.0 with white pages based on what I thought after the pressing. And I always tell people, no matter what company you send your books to get graded, get them pressed and dry cleaned, because the difference between a pressing and a dry cleaning grade can sometimes be hundreds of dollars. So for the small amount that you're paying to get it pressed, no matter who you get them pressed with, it is definitely worth it. But make sure you send it to somebody reputable, because I've seen videos where people get their books pressed and the comics come back worse. Never had that situation with PGX. They do an amazing job with the pressings and dry cleanings. Let's see how close I was to the grade. I said 8.0 to 9.0. First comic graded is an 8.5. So there you go. Right in the middle. Very happy with that. These are harder books to get in higher grade, because as you can see, it's almost all black in the cover, and the back is almost all white. So a lot of times you'll get a lot of, spotting and dirt and things like that. And this will show any kind of imperfections. But this book was in pretty decent grade when I got it. So I'm very happy with an 8.5, especially paying $33 for this comic. Now, I will read the grader's notes. But it does say origin and first appearance of Spider-Woman. White pages, what did I say? I said white pages, so very happy with that. And like I said, if you want to put the grader's notes on the back of the slab, PGX is the only company that does that, and they do it because I was talking to Daniel Patterson, the owner of PGX, and he listened to my advice. So I'm very grateful that, I mean, how many companies out there actually listen to the customer or talk to them on the phone? I mean, I can call him anytime I want and have a conversation with him, and we've had some great conversations over the years. So not a lot of grader's notes on this one, especially when a higher graded book. It says a light 1/2 inch corner crease on front cover and some very slight foxing. So very happy with an 8.5. Not a bad grade to start out with. This is actually one of those comics that I recommend getting because you could still get this book for a fairly decent price because there haven't been anything but rumors at this point. And if there is an announcement for that character, and you know, these days there's a lot of female representation of comic heroes, I would be shocked if they never use her. But anything can happen. Alright, next up, we've got Spawn #1. Now, this is a book most people would be like, well, why are you getting this graded? Well, this book is a very hard to get book because this is the newsstand variant. Now, if you know anything about the first Spawn comic, and this is the first appearance of Spawn in comic form. So there are, you know, preview issues that predate this book, but that's not considered canon because they're preview issues. They're not a comic. So this is the first appearance as far as comic books are concerned. And, wow, Super Neil just did a super chat. Well, I guess that goes perfect with your name, so thank you, Neil. That's really nice of you. And he caught a live chat. He's always saying all the time how he misses him, and he says in his super chat, yay, I finally made it onto one of your live streams. That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. I didn't know you were from Canada. My condolences, but, you know, not much better here these days. But here in Florida, the freest place in the universe at this point, I highly recommend moving here while you can, anybody, because Florida is amazing. My only regret is that I didn't do this earlier. So, Super Neil, thank you for the super chat. You are super awesome, and it's never a requirement for people to do that, but trust me, I really appreciate that. And if I ever see them, I instantly will read your comment, so thank you for that. All right, so this is a book, you know, they've been talking about for years to get another Spawn movie. Now, I remember the Spawn movie from the 90s. I saw that in the movie theater. You know, for its time, you know, graphic-wise and everything, it was a good movie. It wasn't the best ever made, but, you know, it wasn't garbage either. The special effects do not hold up in today's standards, but, you know, these days, there's plenty of movies with great special effects, but horrible stories. I would rather have a good story and a good movie over the special effects if I can only have one or the other. So this is the newsstand variant, and because this book has such a high print run, many people bought multiple copies. I still have all the original ones I've had since the day I bought them. So this book was printed like crazy, but the newsstand is much harder to obtain. Now this is a higher grade, but we'll see what happened because, you know, there's nothing ever guaranteed with these, especially a newsstand variant, because they're harder to get. Because, you know, in a comic book store, they'll put them, you know, more gently on the shelf. They may even sell them with bags and boards and things like that. Newsstand means it came from a place like, for example, 7-Eleven, where they just put it on, you know, a little rack or something, and they're more likely to get damaged. So to get these in higher grades is much harder. So I spent $110 on this book. I predicted about a 9.4 to a 9.8. I would love a 9.8, but we'll see what happens. White pages. And we got a 9.4. So again, I'm not going to complain about that. For a newsstand variant, these are very hard to get in high grade. So they do mention newsstand variant right there in the white. Pin, and remember, it does have a pin-up, so make sure if you bought a Spawn book, if you bought it secondhand, make sure you check for the pin-up. That's something I haven't thought about in a long time. Spawn pin-up by George Perez. So there's two pin-ups. There's a pin-up by Dale Keown and a pin-up by George Perez. And it does say first appearance of Spawn, and it also has a pull-out Spawn poster. So there's many things in here that could be missing if you bought this book secondhand, like on eBay or, you know, an auction or whatever, or a yard sale. So make sure it has the pinup from Dale Keown, the Spawn pinup from George Perez, and the pull-out poster. So this has all of that intact. So this is complete with everything. Newsstand variant, white pages. So I was right about that again. So 9.4. I'm not going to complain about that, especially if they end up doing a movie. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, so 2 more to go. 13 people have already hit the like button. Thank you so much for that. And again, check the link in the description for the We Love Comics free press, where you can, if you send 10 books to PGX and get them pressed, you'll get one of them pressed for free. Now, depending on the book, you'll save some money. Next up, all right, this is another book I highly recommend getting. This is not the first appearance of the Miles Morales character. That's Ultimate Fallout 4. If you've been watching my channel, you know that one because I've talked about that one to death. But it's because I knew that that character was going to be huge. Did I know it was going to reach the levels it's already at? No. And it's going to continue, especially if he gets a live-action movie. But this is his first solo story. This is a book that came bagged. So, I cannot stress enough to get this book, especially if Ultimate Fallout 4 at this point is out of your price range. This is the next best. So, I paid for this book $22.50 because I was buying these years ago. I didn't get them when they first came out, but hey, for $22.50 for this book, I'm not going to complain. It's a high grade. I said 9.6 to 9.8. Usually I'll say like 9.4 to 9.8, but I have some pretty good confidence in this book. But we'll see if I was right. Survey says 9.6, so we didn't get a 9.8. But again, for the price I paid, white pages, I said white pages, not going to complain. Very happy with that. I would rather have the right grade than a 9.8 if it didn't deserve it. So this, The Origin of Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Ultimate Spider-Man #1, definitely a book to get. It does have some grader's notes, and it does say several light stress lines along the spine, which is really hard to see, especially, you know, with a black book. You could see there, I don't see any, so they're saying some, basically a lot of that time happens on the edge, and that can happen because, like I said, this is a bagged book, so it has wiggle room in there. So, you know, if it was moved around a lot, or, you know, especially if you bought it where somebody mailed it to you, it could shuffle around and the edge here can rub against the side of the bag. So that's to be expected. So 9.6 for that book. Again, not going to complain. All right, last but not least, and like I said before, if you want to support my Patreon, I think I make $9 a month in Patreon accounts, so not exactly cleaning house with it, but if you want to support me on Patreon and help the channel, you can. Check out the link in the description. Also, like I said, not tomorrow, but next Sunday I am going to be doing a live auction. I always sell key comics. This will be no exception. It'll be 2 o'clock Eastern time, so come check it out. And let's see what the last book is. All right, so last book, X-Men #9. This is the first time the Avengers and X-Men meet in the comics. To me, I think this is inevitable when they finally get the X-Men in the MCU. Probably not going to be for another few years, so you still have time to get this book. It is an expensive book, and it's not getting cheaper, but like I always say, look for deals, wait for deals, ask for deals. You never know, a book that you thought was out of your range, all of a sudden something comes along that gives you a perfect opportunity. Now, this is a lower grade book, but say it with me because I've said it thousands of times. Low grade is better than no grade. And a lot of times when it comes to selling books, lower grade you could sell easier and faster because there'll be more people that can afford it. Because whether you have an X-Men #9 0.5 or an X-Men #9 9.8, which would be awesome, you still own the book. But I guarantee you there's going to be a lot less people that can afford a 9.8, which would probably be, let's just say, $100,000 for a 9.8. There are not a lot of people that are going to have that money, and a lot of people that may have that money not risk it. But if you had, for example, a 0.5, and I think the camera froze. Give me a second. I'll fix that. If you have a 0.5, let's say a 0.5 is worth $200-300, well, you're going to be able to sell that quicker because there's going to be more people that will have the money. So, hold on a second. I'm sorry, the computer's frozen. My apologies. Alrighty then. At this point, probably most people will not be here. Sorry about that. That's one of the many reasons why I really don't make as many videos as I used to, because I have an outdated laptop that will freeze up and cause me a lot of aggravation. So, most people are not going to be here. I apologize. I just have a piece of garbage computer, so I haven't even looked at this last one, so let's do it quick before it freezes up on me again. Like I said, probably most people are never going to see this, but, you know, most people don't watch my videos anyway, so that's not much of a severe hit. But anyway, X-Men 9, I paid $105.30. I predicted between a 3.0 and a 4.0 with off-white pages. Survey says, well, there you go. So we'll end on a positive note. Ended up being better than I thought because they really did a good job with the pressing. This is the first appearance of Lucifer, which isn't the reason why I got it. It is the first meeting of the X-Men and the Avengers. I think that will happen eventually, and I think, you know, this is a great book to get. It does have the greatest note, says multiple stress lines along the spine. That's always expected, especially a book from the 60s. Moderate cover, edge, and spine wear. Several edge tears and slight chips. So, you know, that's perfectly fine with a book at 4.5, so it actually did better. And like I said, when I do the grades, I base it on what I think they're going to be before pressing and dry cleaning. So as usual, they do an incredible job with the book. And the colors on this book absolutely pop. So I want to thank the 3 or 4 people that are still here. I'm sorry about that. Like I said, I have an outdated computer and just don't have the funds to be able to buy something that would be in the past 10 years or whatever. But that's one of the reasons why I get discouraged at making videos, because stuff like this is, you know, just garbage. And life is good. Well, I'm glad it is. Just did a super chat, so thank you. I really appreciate that. Early Christmas present. I love your videos, dude. Thank you. I appreciate it, and I'm sorry that things like this happen. I wish I had the funds to be able to buy, you know, fancy equipment that does fancy things. Oh, super chat from Super Neil. Dude, you already did one. I don't want you to have to do a second one, but thank you. He says, you're finally back. Congrats on those grades. Yeah, 4.5, very happy with that, especially with paying $105 on this book. Definitely one I would recommend. Like I said, I just think it's just a matter of time before you see something like this, but it probably will be at least 5 years in the future, which means you have time to be able to get comics like this. So ask for deals, wait for deals, make deals, and you'll always find a deal. So thank you for those that stuck around. I apologize for the fact that I have garbage equipment. I actually thought I wouldn't have to plug in my laptop. I'm like, oh, I'm only going to be on the video for maybe 30 minutes. And, of course, this computer is so old and so worn that literally within 17 minutes of literally unplugging it as I came into the room and starting the video right away, battery died. So it is what it is. So lesson learned, I will not do that stupid thing again. And I appreciate the likes and the views. So those are the 4 books. Check out the link in the description. If you want to support my channel and maybe help me be able to get a better computer one day, I do have a Patreon account where I think I have 1 or 2 Patreons. Maybe 3 total on both my YouTube channels. So thank you to those that are there. And that's it. So thanks again. I'm sorry about the poor quality, but it is what it is, and you guys still support me regardless. So thank you to the people that did the super chats. So Life is Good and Super Neil Comics, you guys are both today's surprise subscriber shout-outs. But I'm also going to pick Broke Mo Howard, UHF TV Channel 33. That's a incredibly long name you got there. So I'm going to have all 3 of you the surprise subscriber shout-outs. I don't want people to think you have to send money to be able to get a shout-out. So any of you, if you have links to your YouTube channels, if you make videos, you can post a link in the comments section. If you don't, you'd rather do something like your social networks and do a link to one of those, you could do that. Or if you sell things on Etsy, Amazon, eBay, any of those places, and you want to do a link to one of your sales, you can do that. Just keep in mind, I always have to verify any links. They will not show up as soon as you enter them in the comments section, because I do have to verify them to make sure they don't go to anywhere where people will not be happy with something that may be inappropriate, because I do get a lot of spam when these videos happen, a lot of people trying to promote porn sites, and I'm not about to have that happen. That's why you've never seen a link that brings you to one. So if you do see a link to some of these surprise subscriber shout-outs, that means it has been verified, so go support them, show them the appreciation, and thank you so much for being patient with my piece of garbage computer. So those are the 4 books. I have another 4 books that I just sent in. If you want to know what those are, I did a video about a couple of days ago, and they should be back in probably about a month and a half, depending. But like I said, considering I don't spend extra money for faster shipping to get them back, especially these days, that quickly, not going to complain. So those are the 4 books, some different books than I usually send in, but I think eventually some of these will be keys, but most of them I paid very economical prices for. So those are books you may want to consider. They may not be the most popular. They're definitely not your Hulk 180s in the world, but they still can get you revenue. So if I spend $30 on a book and sell it for $100, you know, that's making over 3 times my money. I'll take that any day. So invest well, invest smart. Get yourself the comics you love. Don't worry about grades. Get what you can afford. Whether you own a coverless copy or you own a 10.0, you still own it, so be proud of it. Base it on what you can afford, not what other people's pressure is to get the highest grade. Get what's best for you. Don't sell your house or, you know, keep your rent from being paid to get something just because you want to keep up with somebody else's collection. That's a good way to get yourself in trouble. Make sure you do your own research. Make sure you know what you're doing. And remember, when it comes to any kind of speculation or investments, there are always risks involved. The more research you do and the more work you do, the less chances you will hurt yourself. Because remember, you could be the best speculator in the world and you will still lose from time to time. And you could be a person that does no research and just takes a roll of the dice on something and you can win once in a blue moon. Don't base everything on one or two events in either direction. If you notice on my channel, probably 90% of the comics that I collect and I invest in end up where they have some form of profitability. Now, of course, you only make profit if you sell something. So it doesn't matter if a book is worth $1,000 more than what you paid for it. If it is based on a movie or a TV show and you don't sell it and that movie's gone, you could lose 50% of that overnight. But again, if I spent 100, even if I didn't sell it at 1,000, I sell it 500, still making more than what I paid for. So you got to give yourself that wiggle room. You got to have confidence in what you do. If you just listen to other people without doing your own research, you better hope you hitch your horse to the right wagon. So watch a couple of people's videos. And yes, the other day somebody quote unquote called me out. I don't think in a way that was being mean, but they were saying, you know, you said in the video, don't, you know, there are a lot of people out there that are, you know, for their own best interests, and you said to listen to them as well. But I didn't specifically say to listen to anybody in particular, but sometimes you can even learn from your enemies. Sometimes you can learn what you don't want or what not to do. So don't always just do your research by listening to those you love. Listen to the ones sometimes you don't love or don't respect, because maybe sometimes you can learn what not to do. So never be afraid to look at both sides. You know, as they say, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. So there's methods to the madness of what I was talking about. So yes, there are people out there that, you know, they care more about their money than the integrity. Like they'll promote a movie that really isn't good, but they might get, you know, early access. And if they say something bad or truthful, they might not get the access anymore, which means less ad revenue, less views. And they would rather have those than tell people the honest truth. Those people, if you want to listen to them, you can. But like I said, sometimes you could learn how not to be as a human being. So there's always a reason for anything that you can do. That's up to you, but do your own research. So I'm rambling at this point. Thank you to the 18 people that have, I guess you love my rants because you stick around for them. I appreciate that. One just dropped off as soon as I said that. And the 25 likes, thank you so much. And to anybody that thumbs it down, hey, I don't blame you. Quality on my videos are not always perfect, but you got to work with what you got. So hope you have a wonderful day. I'll try and do another video when I can. I'll make sure my computer is plugged in. And don't forget, not this Sunday, but next Sunday, I'm going to do an auction, a live auction. Hope you'll take part in it. So you give yourself about a week to be able to save up some coinage. And I will do some payment plans to help people. I've done that before, where you could do 3 monthly payments. And the book will be sent out once you complete the payments. If you live in the Florida area, I've had people meet me in person. If you pay cash or if you send a money order, I will give you a 10% discount on your purchase, no matter how expensive it is. So it's a good way to save money. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great night. And don't forget to have your friends spayed or neutered. All right, I want to answer this question really quick before I end the live stream. Broke Mo says, do you still do mystery boxes? In the link of this channel, I still sell my mystery boxes. I haven't sold one in probably over a year and a half and everything, because I can't think people forget that I still do them. Anywhere from, I think, a $49 mystery box up to a $5,000 mystery box. And you can ask people that have bought mystery boxes from me in the past. You know, they might not have been super thrilled with some of the comics at that moment, but I would always give books where I knew the potential on them would be incredible. Like, I know one of the mystery boxes had an Ultimate Fallout 4. You know, 3 years ago, people wouldn't have been super ecstatic about that book, but now I guarantee you, They made more money than what they paid, even if they bought the $5,000 level. So if you go to the link in the description, it's under my Peaceful Feeling business website. You'll see like pyramids and organic products and stuff that I sell, and crystals and stuff. I do that. It's one of the fun things I love to do. There is a section for the comics that I sell, and there are mystery boxes. So if you want to try one of my mystery boxes, and if you do a live unboxing or just an unboxing of my comics that you buy, I will allow anybody to put the link in the description, well, in the comment section of my latest video, hopefully get a couple of views, and I will view it, and I will subscribe to your channel if I haven't already. So check that out if you're interested in any of my comic mystery boxes. It's generic comics for the cheapest one, and the $5,000 mystery box, you're going to get nothing but mega keys. Could something like a Hulk 180 be in there? There have been in the past, so check it out. You will not be disappointed. Because like I said, even if a book you think, oh, well, this isn't as expensive as what I thought it would be, another 2-3 years, all of a sudden you triple, quadruple the amount of what it's worth. So I put in really good books, and I know a bunch of people that bought the $5,000 levels, which helped me get to Florida when I was moving from New York. So if you give it an opportunity, check out the link in the description, and thank you for asking about that, because I totally forgot, because I haven't sold one in a long time. I even forget to mention it. But the links for all those kind of things are in the description of this or any video. So if you want to give it a try, try it. You're going to be very happy with what I'll send you. So thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate it. Have a